Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to discuss kind of the results, the findings, a little bit of my experiences and view of the world on a couple of products that you see before you. So I recently returned from a camping trip and I really just wanted to offer some thoughts on some of the items that I used. Certainly if you feel the same way about them, please feel free to drop a comment. And if you have a different view than what I'm saying, then let's have a discussion. So anyway, without further ado, just wanted to mention that if you are looking for a single person tent, obviously this is not pitched or set up, but the Passage 1 by REI, kind of one of these rectangular dome type of tents. This thing was excellent, absolutely excellent. It was a 4-night trip that I was on, and it actually rained 2 of those nights. And with the rain fly on, this thing was absolutely excellent. And the footprint is really not that big. I mean, what is it? Maybe my forearm? Anyway, that angle. Nonetheless, 1-person tent, Passage 1, REI, says it's a 3-season tent. I got it on sale. It was one of the REI outlet, and definitely was a great purchase. So I really recommend that. Couple of other things here with that tent. Actually, the tent came with these really cheesy tent stakes. I upgraded them to the MSR Groundhog stakes. These things were great. Pounded these things into the ground. Some of them hit rocks, and they held up pretty excellent. With the tarp that I used under, I never buy a regular footprint that goes along with the tent. I mean, the Passage 1, as an example of the tent that I have, came, or didn't come with, but had the option for you to buy, the specifically tailored footprint for it. And I'd rather just get kind of an industrial strength tarp, and then cut it to size, or even just have some excess on there, which I did. And I just as a test to see, because I know in general these things have always through time have been pretty bad. Tried it again, just securing that, and obviously this one looks fine, but there was one that just about bent 45 degrees. It was pretty bad. So nonetheless, I definitely recommend going with an upgraded stake, and these MSR Groundhog stakes are really, really excellent. Look for them on sale via REI, and I know you will not be disappointed. Another product that I used that came in handy during this trip. So obviously I have my flashlight, or my torch, right, as they say in Britain. This is the Phoenix LD20. Excellent light. My gosh, I love this light. Have this little diffuser here, and this thing really, really came in handy. So we had a kind of a shelter set up that a friend of mine brought to kind of protect us from the elements, and we used this in the center of that in the evening, and it provided a huge amount of illumination, and it was diffused because, I mean, let's be honest, this thing flashes in your eyes and it is going to blind you. Really, it will. So this, if doesn't, certainly I really recommend this flashlight. But if you don't get this, if you get one of the 4.7s or some of the other manufacturers that are out there, check out these types of diffusers that go along with them, and I think you'll really be pleased with MSR Pocket Rocket. This thing is banging for what it is, ounce for ounce. I think this is probably the best little stove that's out there. Really love it. It's really convenient in terms of the size. And the stake that I did make, let me get this out of the frame. This is just one of the fuel tanks. Jet Power is what I was using. So this is just kind of, I think I got this through, you can get this is a standard Army surplus camp cup. But what I found out is that when you use it with the Pocket Rocket, while it certainly stays on there, with really not much of an issue. Once you start to get kind of a violent boil, the potential is there that this thing could eventually creep off and, you know, you're spilling this boiling water on your lap. That didn't happen to us at all, but if you're not careful, if the elements are really bad, really windy, I would not recommend using something like this with this. I do have a single-walled Snow Peak, but the volume of it was definitely less than this, and what we needed for some of the camp meals was larger. I think this size is, I don't know, don't quote me on it, maybe 24 ounces, maybe a little less than that. I think it's probably about 18 ounces, but nonetheless, easily searchable. I'll probably roll that in and let you know exactly the size of this. But nonetheless, it worked out okay. I probably wouldn't use this again. It's obviously huge, and you can put your stuff in there, so that's very cool. But I don't know, in general, I probably would probably go with something different other than that. Well, here's the Eagle Creek packet system little pouch that I had in my bag, which is here, by the way. I can't wait to talk about that. Alright, so this stuff, a friend of mine was super skeptical about this. This is the Pack Soap by MSR, highly concentrated biodegradable soap, and I hardly used any of it because it truly is so concentrated that it was really excellent, you know, for showering. You can use it on your hair, you can use it on your body, and it was great. I mean, it lathered up really well. I really recommend it. Obviously, you got the redundancy here of the bags, right? I have a little craft bag that I sealed it up, and it didn't leak at all, but just in case, you never know. So really recommend that MSR. This MSR camp towel, unbelievable. I had been looking at these for a while and really just didn't get into them because I really thought they were a gimmick. Here, it kind of has a drying loop on it. And this thing, I mean, look at the footprint on it, all right? It's barely bigger than both of my hands. Again, I will roll in the exact dimensions, but I'm not kidding you. I used this to dry off my entire body, and it worked perfectly. And how, you know, for how small that it is, my only complaint, it's not even really a complaint, it's more of just because, you know, you get lazy with conveniences in life. I probably had to wring it out about 6 times when I used it, but my gosh, for the amount of ultra lightness that you get from this, really great. So highly recommend these MSR camp towels, and they fold down to nothing. I mean, this is one of the smaller ones, but nonetheless, great product. You should check it out. And what did I actually do the camping in? Well, it is the MSR Rush 24 pack, and this thing is great. Obviously, you can see all the MOLLE straps here, right? You have some Velcro. I always roll with a carabiner, so that's obviously in there. You know, I change it up here. At the time when we did the camping, I didn't have the whistle on the outside, but it's just a new whistle I picked up, so I threw it on here just to kind of see how it would look and function. I don't know if I'm going to keep it there. Nonetheless, I could go and I probably will go into a separate review on this bag alone, but if anything you remember from this video, the straps on this bag are incredibly comfortable. You can obviously go through, you know, again, every side of it has functionality. Really, I'm actually saving up for a GoRuck bag. You'll see the URL, I'll drop that in. But for the time being, this really serves my purposes, and it was a great purchase. So had a ton of room actually in the bag for a 4-day trip. So it was really great. And lastly, I don't have it rolled out, but the ALPS Mountaineering Outfitter Series AirPad regular size. This thing was a disaster. All right, I should have gone with a Thermarest, but I didn't because this was cheaper. It was on sale. I thought it would work out. It did not. So I guess anybody who has any thoughts on their Alps Mountaineering AirPad that you would use in a tent, maybe your experience is different than mine, but really, I did not have a good one with this. tried to make it work. I tried to love it. Obviously, anything that I do buy, I try to love and make work, but this did not. So eventually I may go with a Thermarest, but those tend to be about 30 or 40% more in cost, and I guess I can understand why. You know, if you pay for good gear, typically it rewards you, and this was not a good experience. I'll still keep it, and maybe it will be different in the future, but I really don't think so. I had 4 nights to practice, and it didn't work out. So that's all. If anybody has any thoughts on any of these products or some other things that you recommend for short camping trips, let me know. That's all I have for you. Take care.